Right now we are standing in the mirror chamber of the Primate Palace in Bratislava, where an event called a Roundtable of the Adults Education with different topics was prepared for scientific and close community. What was new and special about 16th year of the Week of the Lifelong Learning? This year was special mainly because we were celebrating the 55th anniversary of founding the Association of Institutions the Adults Education. Surely it was special also because Slovakia gained the chairmanship of the European Union, and it was also marked by different activities of our European partners, but also our member institutions. Finally, we managed to organize more than 40 events for the first time. A roundtable of the adults' education which took place in Bratislava on 17th of October belongs to the most significant. Another one is an event of the European Association of the Adults' Education which will take place in the V Club tomorrow, where Mrs. Dana Bashman, the representative of the European Commission, will come and introduce new program New Skills for Europe, and the experts from more than 15 countries will meet there too. Other events are scientific conferences, different workshops, seminars, but they are mostly meant for the public community, so people will be able to try the informal education on their own for free, and that is the goal, spreading of the idea of the whole life education.
Predovšetkým sú to podujatia pre širokú verejnosť, čiže budú si môcť ľudia, občania vyskúšať neformálne vzdelávanie na vlastnej koži bezplatne, a o to vlastne ide, aby sme šírili tú myšlienku celoživotného vzdelávania.
What are your biggest challenges in the field of the adults' education? The project of the adults' education is on a historical milestone right now. From one side there are the European strategies, and from the other there are our national strategies. When it comes to the European strategies, right now the Slovak chairmanship is involved in accepting the first part of new strategic package of the project New Skills for Europe. This first part that is negotiated by the Slovak chairmanship and mostly Ministry of Education is a so-called guarantee of skills, which is aimed at low-skilled adults. Are serious issue that mainly concerns Slovakia, because we have set plans to share in underdeveloped regions where we will deal with setting education of these low-skilled adults in order to increase the level of their skills, upskilling, and to get them to higher qualifications. This whole European strategy will be flipped into our national strategy in terms of the government program. The Ministry of Education decided to prepare a new law of lifelong learning in the field of further education, and our biggest challenge is that we need some way to seriously think about how we will recognize learning outcomes in the informal system and informal learning system, as this is a trend that is generally global and European, and indeed Slovakia mainly, as a presiding country of the European Union at present, we want to prove that even here in Slovakia we can implement this plan.
What is the impact of adult learning on the development of society?
Well, we in the European Association, we have just published a manifesto on adult education, where we say that for us adult education is about the power and the joy of learning. The power of learning, because adult learning is so important for people to get a better position in their life. If you get new skills, then you can also get a new job. And we actually will, in the coming years, also face in Europe that new challenges are coming, the digitalization, for example. So the power of learning, and the other part is the joy of learning. Learning is so important for us as single human beings, as a tool to live in the society. And as someone told me, if you enter a class of adults in a learning situation, you will hear laughter, you will hear happiness. So the joy of learning is definitely also a part of the impact. The power and the joy of learning is what we find is what adult learning is about.
The most important thing for senior education offered by universities of the third age is to make the society to understand that the senior education not as entertainment, but something that benefits the entire society, from individual to a whole society, because seniors are people who have a lot of experience, knowledge, they know a lot, they are willing to share it and continue to work on it. If we combine all this, we can work with this huge potential, which can be increased if we are to create a suitable space and conditions.
V rámci seniorského vzdelávania, ak my vytvoríme vhodný priestor, sú ochotní a schopní ďalej posúvať.
What impact do you think the adult education has on a community development? A clear example is the national program of active aging, which deals with different tasks, and education in the universities of the third age can encourage and develop every single activity that operates under a national program of active aging. That means it is exactly the image of the senior education that can influence the life of an elderly individual in terms of quality of life and can move a lot of things in the society through learning. We can educate people, support their existence within the society, we can teach the younger generations to perceive some values quite differently through volunteering in education.
Naučiť mladú generáciu vnímať niektoré hodnoty úplne ináč, alebo venovať a rozprávať sa o veciach, na ktoré v školách nie je čas.
Week of a lifelong learning continues on Tuesday in the premises of the National Culture Center, where the participants from different European countries will meet to discuss the dangers, issues, challenges and the importance of adult learning.
What are your biggest challenges in adult learning?
There are plenty of them, and for Europe I would point out at the moment that the biggest challenge is to keep the balance between vocational education and training, adult learning for employment, for a job, and the other kinds of adult learning like basic education, general education, and of course very important, education for democratic citizenship. That's what we need in Europe, and we need to keep a balance in both of that. That won't be easy.
Well, I think these are challenges for Europe as such, and first of all you have a very high share of people in the EU that have very low basic skills in reading, writing, counting, but also digital skills. And already the size of this group, it's a challenge by itself. But then in addition, in order to get these people closer to learning opportunities, you need to have very strong support, outreach, guidance measures to boost their motivation and to have learning offers that are adapted to their individual context.
So what is the impact of adult learning on the development of society?
The impact is huge, but it's not so obvious and not so recognized. I believe adult learning, both for formal and non-formal, is what made Europe what it is, one of the most developed regions in the world. So I think that's what we have to also to keep and to make this contribution of adult learning more visible, more transparent, so we get more support.
We have more and more evidence showing that the higher the level of skills of people of working age, the higher economic growth for a country, but also higher social inclusion, social convergence, civic engagement of citizens, better health rates. So altogether we see that investing in adults as such brings benefits, not only economic but also social benefits. Yeah.